Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Tell us in the chat where you're zooming in from.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Augusta, Georgia, Indiana, Pennsylvania. Awesome.
No Alaska?
No Alaska.
Oh,
We've got a Dallas, Texas.
we like Dallas. Go Dallas. Oh, Alex and Amy, we might know them.
Oh, Richmond.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Some more Dallas in there. That's why I was like, how can I get my time to work?
Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, we'll give it one more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Got North Carolina and South Carolina. We're at 100% on the Carolinas. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Where's the other Texas? We had lots of Dallas. Houston, where you at?
Denver.
At H-Town. Where are you at, H-Town?
Where you at, H-Town? Come on.
Well, I'm here. I'm representing. How about that?
All right,
We'll
you
take
can
it.
you
We'll
can
take it.
represent. I love that.
All right, so it is 3 after. We will go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Give Back and Get Back. My name is Stephanie Hurst and I'm the Member Programs Manager for the National Apartment Association Education Institute. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I want to go over a few housekeeping points. This presentation is being recorded and will be posted on the webinars page of the NAA website by early next week. During the discussion, you may type questions into the chat box on your screen and we will share them with our presenters. We've left time at the end for questions. And now I will turn it over to the Next Gen Committee Chair, Christy Rodriguez, to kick off today's presentation. Christy?
Thank you, Stephanie. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome and introduce today's speakers, Christina Bernardis and Jeffrey Butcher. Christina is currently an asset manager at Moore Residential, and in her role, she guides the property management companies and the execution and implementation of strategies and programs which drive peak operational and financial performance of the communities. She has over 15 years of multifamily industry experience, and she previously worked with Peak Campus, Gables, Monogram Residential Trust, and JLB Residential. Welcome, Christina.
Hello, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Everybody show her some love with the little emoji chats. I love those. All right. Yes, gonna show you some love. All right, next up we have Jeffrey Butcher. He serves as the Director of Training at JLB Residential. And in his role, he is responsible for the creation and presentation of webinar and in-person training curriculum, ranging from soft skills to technician training. His extensive background and years of experience in the multifamily space enables him to implement sales and training initiatives which help drive excellence to all aspects of the client experience. Prior to making an impact at JLB Residential, he was a training team member of Monogram Residential Trust, Balfour Beatty, and Amley Residential. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here. Thanks for that warm introduction.
You're welcome. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christina to get us started. Christina.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christy, and welcome everybody. I'm actually going to have Jeffrey talk to us first a little bit about the goals that we're trying to achieve today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, Christina, that I didn't realize this until I woke up this morning, that we're doing this entire presentation on give back and get back.
Yep.
And what that is, all that is philanthropic efforts and philanthropy
Yeah.
and giving back. And today is our North Texas Giving Day.
It is North Texas Giving Day. I didn't.
Yeah, it's
that's a great
crazy. It's
connection.
crazy today.
I saw that.
So welcome to our North Texas attendees today.
Yeah.
We're so excited. This is one step in your give back for our North Texas Giving Day. Give yourselves a round of applause. We're very, very
Yay.
excited. So I had to throw that in. But today, here's some of our goals that we're going to look at. So first, we're going to look at some tools that's needed on working for a professional purpose on a philanthropic effort or a philanthropy campaign or a program for your organization. And we have some people on the phone that aren't necessarily just in multifamily. Philanthropy is for everybody. It's for what you can do, giving pieces of you, giving your time and efforts to others. And it can be across the board in any kind of business. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to look at that impact. And we're going to understand that when you impact and you mesh it with desire for people and have to work for that philanthropic organization, what that means.
Absolutely.
What is that takeaway? And then we're going to talk about how easy and how cost friendly it is to get it started, to put that campaign together and use it. Now, as we go through this, there's a lot of information. We want to make sure that we give as much to you as possible. If there's questions, interrupt us, Christy, say, hey, we've got a question based on this, because we want it relative to all the audience participation. So with that, I'm going to let Christina talk about how we got started on this and what the process was for today's program.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And hello again, everybody. Thank you so much to the NAA Education Institute for allowing us the opportunity to speak here today. Not only did we want to share our personal and professional experiences with philanthropy, even though, I mean, we're pretty good at it, right? Like, I think you would enjoy hearing just from us. But outside of that, we thought, well, we'll go ahead and let's talk about where everybody else in the world feels, or people we know, our connections, how they feel about philanthropy.
Right.
We created a survey and we sent that survey out through Facebook, through LinkedIn. We also hit up all of our friends and some coworkers that we've had and said, hey, will you please take a moment to take this survey? If there's any of you on the line today who participated in this survey, thank you so much for doing so. It really impacted today's presentation, and you'll see a lot of those results here over the next, 15 minutes or so. In light of that, I also wanted to make note, it's not just those within the multifamily industry that we reached out to. So as you can see here, we have people from all over our technology industry, we have healthcare industry, we have some people that marked NA because they're retired, but they're still wanting to be philanthropic, whether it's personally or they previously worked for an organization that had a program in place. And that's what we're really here to talk about today, is implementing how to get started on a new program. So the first part of today's presentation is really going to give you some statistics to take back to say, hey, I want to have a philanthropic program at my organization, whether or not it has one, and maybe I want to enhance what I'm doing personally with my team to give back to the community. So that's really what we're going to start. When we asked all these people what they thought of philanthropy and whether or not philanthropy was important to them, do you want to know what they said?
What did they say, Christina?
What did they say? 100% of the people surveyed said philanthropy was important to them. Does this surprise anybody?
Go figure that.
No, I know, right? Like, that's the question. Now, did anybody skip the question? That we don't know. We didn't really look, right? But 100% of the people who responded said yes. Now, there could have been people who were like, I don't want to say no because it's not important to me. But at the same time, they probably wouldn't have been taking our survey if it wasn't, right? So next, we're going to go through why we give. And we asked the question, for example, like, why do you give back? That was one of the very first questions. So it was, yes, I like to give back, but why? Some of the feedback that we received, and this is not going to be a surprise to anybody, but I feel it's important to go ahead and share, because if you feel this way, others are out there this way as well, right? So we have, it feels good to give back. I know I am blessed in this life, and I'm so happy that I can share that with others and hope that it helps ease their burden. And that's really a big one for a lot of people with philanthropy, is really just helping others. I love helping others and to show my children how important it is to help others in need. We also have, for a better or clear more sense of empathy, I also have a positive outlook on the world and gain inspiration from those I'm helping and working alongside. And last but certainly not least, I try to share my blessings. I really love this information. I really loved how people really took a minute to say that they knew that they were blessed themselves, or they're using it not only as a way to give back, but to also have more empathy towards people who are less fortunate than they are.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to get personal.
Let's do it.
You want to get a little personal? Are we okay with
just
this?
a little, just a
Okay.
little bit. Just a little
So
bit.
we asked them, okay, that's great. Like, you like the feeling of giving back. We know you like to give back, but this isn't like too personal, so don't worry there. But it's important. Philanthropy is important, but we wanted to break it down into 3 different categories: monetary donations, tangible items, and time volunteering. And we asked, where do you fall into these? Do you typically only donate monetarily? Do you do donations through clothing donations, food donations, or do you donate your time? Do you go to the North Texas Food Bank and do you sort food, or do you work somewhere and help do things? It was almost split, like 33% across the board. It was almost split. I think monetary donations were slightly higher, but everything else was pretty spot on, right? So it's pretty even killed there. And not only that, but of this group of people too, 33% of them selected 2 options, which I don't have that here in the chart, but that means that they either selected monetary donation and time volunteering, or time volunteering and tangible items, which is really good to know. Also, 43% of people surveyed said they take off personal time off to volunteer at work, or volunteer taking it time off of work, which is really important for you to know, right? This is, again, some good statistics. And I know you're thinking, like, why is this important? Why is this important? It's important to know, if you are going to leadership to talk through what people are currently doing at your organization, then why not help the company benefit from this as well by sponsoring that time off?
You know, what's interesting, Christina, is that some companies nowadays actually give their teams philanthropic days.
Yes, they do.
To where you're able to go out and do your campaigns, take time away from the company, and that's supportive of it. I know that that's one thing we do here at JLB, but I think that's really important to know that companies are behind this.
They are.
And they're really involved with getting out there and helping people. And that's what it's about.
Absolutely. We're also going to talk about, just in the work world, that there are about 75% of the organizations already have, that we surveyed, right, have a philanthropic program already in place. So if you're here and you're one of the 24% of communities or companies that don't have a philanthropic program in place, then this is really meant for you, right? So that you can take this information back and propose it to somebody in leadership, or, like I said earlier, really utilize it yourself to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about in the work world. So of those, 76% have a formal philanthropy program, which we just talked about. 24% didn't, which we mentioned, but here's a couple that we know are in place. So Peak Cares is one. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Peak. They're a student housing organization based in Atlanta. They have a really wonderful philanthropy program that they feature a lot. And then also here at JLB.
Yeah, JLB Giving, you know, and we put together for one quarter every year, Q4 is our JLB Giving quarter. And it's 12 to 13 weeks of where we have everybody in our organization that's involved with some kind of philanthropic campaign.
Yeah.
Where we're right in the midst of finishing our peanut butter drive. We have a peanut butter drive going on now, where we've already raised, I think, with our on-site team, about 300 pounds of peanut butter for the North Texas Food Bank.
That's amazing.
And it goes, like you said earlier, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's financial, and sometimes it's donating materials. Another thing that we do is we really like to see our leasing contests. And we've done leasing contests.
That's a sneak peek.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get so excited.
Yes, you're jumping the gun here a little bit.
Don't jump the gun.
All right, so we're going to keep going just slightly. So as Jeffrey mentioned earlier, company time off is a big one, right? So we know that JLB allows teams or their employees to take time off to give back their time on work time, right? So basically doing that, which is fantastic. So we have 76% of organizations have a formal program, but only 68% of those same employers offer time off, which I found really interesting too. So it's really awesome that nearly 70% of companies out there are already doing that, but that could be a little bit more. And we're going to show you some examples why. So now we're getting to the buy-in.
Let's do it. Now let's get buy-in.
Okay, so like I said, good info here, but now we're going to get to the buy-in. Now, a part of it, you're like, okay, this is great information, but what can I do at my organization? What are some things that I can take back to my leadership team to really inspire them or get their buy-in on why this type of program is important? But not only that, but a lot of people, in leadership positions, they're thinking, what's the bottom line? Like the WIFM, what's in it for me? What's this going to cost my organization? Now, as we know, taking time off is time, right? Yes. It's time and it's money. But what we're going to talk through here is just a no cost, no time lost. And as I said, there's still time, right? There's still money, but on the face value. So we have, and I'm sorry, it's a little bit cut off here, but as Jeffrey was saying just a second ago, one of the things that JLB has done in the past is allow their associates to defer their leasing commission or bonus to their charity of choice. Yes. So in lieu of paying that person directly, they say, I want to take my leasing commission for this month and I want to donate it to this charity. And the company can then go in and make that donation on their behalf, which Absolutely. Is fantastic.
And we actually get a lot of buy-in from this as well.
Yeah.
And we have set up leasing contests with this to where anything you get, you have the opportunity to give as much as you want. Yeah. So it's kind of a really, really cool thing that you can participate in.
It is. And one thing that I like about this one too is, we talk about how time is money, of course. But in this instance, you're allowing them to do that. And then in some cases, depending on how passionate that associate is about that particular charity, that could really drive them to try that much harder because Absolutely. They know that's going to happen. And then we're going to talk about matching here in just a moment as well. Another one that is really big is fundraising, which Jeffrey just mentioned here at JLB. They're doing their peanut butter fundraiser, which again is really no time or cost, right? It's the associates pulling in something and then you get to share that information and it really benefits like in this instance, the North Texas Food Bank.
Absolutely.
Another example would be t-shirts for a cause. So for example, many years ago at a company I worked at, during the month of February, it was Heart Association Month.
Yes.
And it was, okay, you can buy this shirt, you wear it every Friday, and a portion of the proceeds of the shirt goes towards that charity. So not only do you get the opportunity to sport your red that particular month, which February being Valentine's worked out perfect, but then you're also able to give back. And that, yes, is an upfront cost for the business to purchase the shirts initially, but then you're making that money back and then some for the donations.
Absolutely.
Another example from a former company that I was at was Jeans Fridays, giving a small donation to an organization and allowing your employees to wear jeans. I know sometimes if you're on site, depending on what your dress code is, this one's kind of like, oh, can we do it? Can we do it? I will tell you, I like 90% of your employees are going to want to do it. They're going to want to wear jeans. And how great is that? As a company, you get to say, not only are we going to allow you to wear jeans, but then we're going to make this really fabulous size donation
Absolutely.
To a particular charity of who's the choice of the organizer. A second ago, we talked about matching just briefly. So in this instance, it's match the amount of the associate's leasing commission or their bonus and allow them to do that to the charity of choice. I happen to be fortunate enough to work at JLB whenever they announced this, right? We did this a couple of years ago where whatever it was that you made, and I think it was not only as the employee, but it was as the community. So for that entire month, every associate's commission was kind of added up and then the company matched it and donated it. Was that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Yay. And then one is getting active. So get moving by making donations. At JLB, we partnered at one point with a company called Charity Miles. If you are interested at all, please write down Charity Miles on your scratch pad or whatever you're taking notes on. A really great organization that not only allows you as the employee, you can enroll today and start giving back. And I'll let them explain the nuance behind it and how they actually do it. But essentially, I can sign up today without it being tied to an organization. I can get moving and get active, and all my activity that's recorded through my from my Apple Watch or my Garmin or whatever is going to log into that app and make a donation off the charity that I've selected through their options that are there. At JLB, when this was launched, not only did we use their free portion, I say free, but free portion of their service, but we also added on to it, which allowed us to create different competitions. And we were able to say, okay, in the month of April, we're going to walk, and our goal is to hit 2,500 steps as an organization or whatever it is. You can set it up to where $1 a mile or 50 cents a mile, however you want to match it, goes towards this particular charity that you've selected. This has been a really, really good one for JLB, if I remember
Absolutely.
correctly. This will get everybody moving, which is really fantastic. And not only that, but depending on your insurance, some companies really look for something like this kind of program in place because it affects your insurance deductible for workers' comp and some health insurance as well. Not workers' comp, but health insurance,
Yeah.
which I find really interesting.
And it's fun. It's fun. It's the
It is fun.
competition.
It is.
Now we're on the 10th floor, 7th floor. We're on the 7th floor here, but we
Yeah.
take the stairs coming to and from work,
Yeah.
or walk in the parking garage on your lunch break,
Yeah.
and all those miles go to that one charity that
It
you're
is.
set up for the organization.
Yeah.
So it helps.
It is, and it's a really good way for your team to collaborate. But not only that, there's 3 winners here. So, right, you get the associate because they get the health benefits of being active. You have this charity that's selected, and then the company, right, depending on what insurance that they have that they could potentially utilize this for.
Absolutely.
Another one that's there is your group time. This is where you would take time away from work as a group. So as a regional manager or as a leader in the organization, you want to take all your managers, or as a community director, you get the approval to close your office for a portion of the day and take your entire team out. Volunteering in a food bank is one way to do it. Another way to do it is birthday cards for seniors that reside in an assisted living facility or in memory center. I will tell you this one, I've seen the direct impact of this, and it's fantastic. This doesn't even really take time away from the office. You're having your team meeting every week, every other week, whatever your cadence is. Take an opportunity, Amazon, $20, go buy a bunch of cards and have your teams just write well wishes in those. And that makes such a big impact. Same thing with birthday cards. You can do not birthday cards, but words of encouragement for those experiencing homelessness. Since we are in the housing industry, it's only fitting for us to obviously support people who are experiencing homelessness. And there's a lot of organizations out there that do this. And one of the things that I know JLB has done is taking that moment to write words of encouragement to those people who are experiencing this, to give them some things out there, which is good.
And it's funny because if you go back to what you just said, Christina,
Yep.
Birthday cards, words of encouragement, the written word speaks volumes
Right.
for people.
It does.
Writing that handwritten card saying, we're thinking about you, we understand, we're here to help. It's very, very impactful.
It is.
Go back to leasing 101. We had to handwrite thank
Your
you cards
postcards,
and
yeah.
mail them to people,
Exactly.
right?
No longer the email.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but you can get your residents involved in something like this, right? Whether it's volunteering at the food bank or having them stop by the office, pick up a few birthday cards, or setting out a station and allowing them to do that.
One of our attendees, Christina, just mentioned that they volunteer for other charity organizations and they match. So some of them will actually match their corporate funders
Perfect.
as a gift.
Yeah.
So whatever you're putting in your time, they'll match that.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I thank you for putting that into the question Q&A segment, because that's really impactful that everybody is being able to do their own volunteer time and what they can happen, and you're getting a lot from it.
It is, absolutely. One thing too, we're going to look at now is a part of getting the buy-in. And sorry, we need to get our slides back. Here we go. After doing team building, which is a really big one that people tend to do, right? Like the group time off, like not time off, but group, I'm going to go to North Texas Food Bank and I'm going to give back or whatever that may be. But the biggest piece is how they feel after. And a lot of the responses that we got back, it was all about the team building, and it was all about the camaraderie that they built with their team members while they were out there giving back. And you can't measure that. When you're a leader of an organization and you know that your employees truly enjoy working together and that they have that bonding experience outside of the office, it creates that much more of a bond when they come to work every day. So again, like you can't measure that, but that's the WIFM, right? That's one of the big WIFMs. So that's the fun stuff on the buy-in, of course. And like Jeffrey said earlier, and I know Christy and team are monitoring it, but if there's questions that you have or anything you want to chime in on with ideas, I'm sure anybody on this call would really love to hear that. Another piece that's really big in conversation right now is ESGR.
That's a lot of letters
It
too.
is, it's a lot. It
I
stands
give you
for a
lots of
lot.
with them, ESGR. We got more letters coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, Jeffrey has some words too, or some acronyms here. But ESGR is a really big component in the industry right now, not only in the multifamily and real estate industry, but all throughout. My husband personally works in technology, and he said, and they're a public company, and this is really big on their radar. And they've been reporting on this for several years now as a public company. But there's a lot of people now that are choosing to do or limit the business that they do with organizations dependent upon how they're ranked and how they track ESG, which stands for, as you see here, environmental, social, governance, and resilience. One of the things that I love about any kind of philanthropic program is that you're really able to take social aspect of it, right? Because you're helping the community, you're working with team building, which is a big one. But depending on the charity that you choose to do business with, for example, environmental could be one, depending on what you're working on. Governance from a leadership standpoint, Boys and Girls Club, I think, is a good one from a leadership standpoint. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, those are all kind of leadership programs for the youth of America. Those would be really great ones to potentially get involved in as well, that kind of fit into this space of ESGR, which I found really important to mention today, especially if you're making notes to talk through this with your leadership team. I almost guarantee they've heard of ESGR, or it's been on, somebody's mentioned it and they've heard it somewhere and they're like, how do we get involved? How do we track this? What can we do to do it, to be a part of this discussion? This is how you can be a part of the discussion. And this is a way that you can do it that, like we said earlier, is not going to cost the company a whole lot of money to get a program in place. And Jeffrey's going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment as well. So some of the takeaways that we have for you from getting the buy-in: it doesn't have to be expensive. No, not at all. No. It doesn't have to take a lot of time away from work to give back. Most employees, we learned, are already doing it on their own. So why not have the organization's name attached to it? That's why those statistics are important. We know 100% of people think that philanthropy is important, and 75-ish% of people, or no, it was like 68% of people are taking personal time off. Why wouldn't an organization say, take your time off, we'll give you the time off, wear our hat, wear our shirt, wear our bling, wear our stuff, and then post a picture, share it with your social, represent not only the charity that you're helping, but represent the company as well. That's really great exposure for the company, especially from a recruiting standpoint, and putting your name out there. And know it's okay to start small. A lot of these philanthropy programs really start as a seed, and you plant that seed, and then the more you water it, the more people hear about it in your organization. They see what fun it is to be collaborative with people and give back. They'll continue to go through that. So it's okay to start small. And now, all that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Fantastic. I appreciate the time you've allowed me to talk through that. But now Jeffrey's going to talk to us a little bit more about the Philanthropy P, I think is what he calls it.
What's the next step? Because what we've looked at is we've looked at surveying, right? And we've looked at that's so much information that we've provided, Christina, and thanks for speaking to that, on what people are looking for and what they're wanting. And there's some ideas, but now you have all these different pieces. It's like a puzzle. How do you put it together? So we're going to go through a plan for you. And a plan involves the 4 philanthropy P's, right? And so
you said there would be more letters.
I know there's more letters, right? Can you tell we've trained before? We're like, okay, we need letters, acronyms for everything, right? Yeah. So the first one is to have a clear plan. Now, a plan means, what do you want to do, right? And look at this quote: an idiot with a plan can be a genius without a plan. I mean, how many of you on the call today are the ones that write everything down in your notebook and want to cross them off?
Oh, that's me.
That's me. Total, right?
I'm a square. I checked the box.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's having a plan. It's putting it together so that you can formulate your ideas. Yep. You can put things together and show what the expectations are from you and from everyone else that's involved. Mm-hmm. So when you know those expectations, you're able to look at results in a completely different way. Our plan, when we started this presentation, or we started a few months ago talking about it, was we got to survey first. Yeah. We got to figure out the information that we're going to work with before we can start anything else. Otherwise, it's just Christina and I talking up here. Nobody wants to see that. They want to have a plan, right? Yeah. So the plan was to survey people, get a sampling of people's hot buttons, and then put together a plan that can go with it. When you're talking about your plan, think about your brand. Christina mentioned it earlier about what is going to represent your company best. Now, we talk company on a big picture, but what represents you the best?
Yeah.
What's near and dear to your heart? What is the group trying to achieve? So once you have the plan, you have it all figured out, you've put it all on your notebook paper so that you can cross off your checklist.
I am green. It's an iPad, right? It's not a piece of paper.
Yes, you've developed to the iPad, right?
I'm the ESG. I checked the box for that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Me, unfortunately, I have digressed. So using that spiral notebook again.
We'll,
I don't know.
we'll get you there.
We'll get you
We'll
there.
get you there.
Perfect. The second P is to promote. So promoting is based on conceptualizing your vision.
Yeah.
So you've put a plan together. Now you're starting to promote this. How is this orchestrated? What is the path?
When you say promote, are you talking online with other people? Are you talking internally? Or are you talking with the charity? What are you talking about here?
So it's a little mix of everything,
Okay.
right? But first it comes from the design and the creativity. What is your promotion campaign going to look like?
Okay, got it.
Is it all about the social? Is it all about the communication with your company, communication with the organization you're trying to help? And then what does that look like? It's a roadmap, right?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We were talking about the peanut butter drive we're doing.
Yeah.
We split the month of September into 3 weigh-ins. So we're not even counting jars of peanut butter. We're counting down to the last ounce.
To the pound.
To the
ounce.
pound to the
Yeah,
ounce,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, but we've put together 3 roadmaps to where each of those weigh-ins we post on social media, and we're promoting the progression that we're going into.
I love it.
And so that way you get more buy-in. People see, and they're like, oh, you were at X on this date, and now you're at Y this date. Soon you'll get to Z.
Yeah.
So the more that you put into the promotion of it, then that leads you to your performance, right?
Yeah.
So your performance, when you're working for your company wants to know results. It's all about ROI.
Yep.
What's ROI?
With them.
You're with them
You're with them.
on
Yeah.
you, but then your ROI
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
return, right?
No, yeah.
She's being silly now. She got to talk. Now we're doing my turn. Now we're chiming in. So when you're doing these results,
Yeah.
you're scheduling meetings and you're putting facts to figures, meaning you're seeing exactly what the campaign looks like. You're seeing how your big results, you're seeing your small results, you're seeing your structure and those stepping stones that lead you to the next place.
Yeah.
It's about going back and checking and balancing. Where are we at now? One thing on your performance, pre-schedule those meetings. If you're doing this within a group, within a small group or the organization, pick your times that you're going to have touch points on where you're at on your progress. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
The last one on the piece is the production. To highlight your strong performances and those indicators of where you're being successful. And that's for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe, like you said earlier, is making a contest within the people that are in your organization.
Yeah.
Who's bringing the most to the table?
Well, and that's what's happening with the peanut butter drive.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're so competitive. We like contests a lot. So when you look at these 4 Ps, what you're doing, you're putting everything in place. So you have all the analytics with your production numbers, you have all the creativity with your stepping stone for the promotion, and then you have all your realism, all your results, all the things that go into making your successful campaign.
Yep.
So let's break it down just a little bit more, and we'll go through this really quickly. So when you're planning, going step by step with your planning, is you break it down for others to understand what you're trying to achieve, what the end result is, and the overall picture.
Yeah.
Pictures are important. Pictures, stats, numbers, ideas, put it all. You know, some people will do like vision boards, vision boards for a year. Put together a vision board for your philanthropy campaign.
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve? Who benefits from it? And what are the steps you're going to get there? When you put this together, you ask yourself, why is it important?
Yeah.
Why is it important to me? Why is it important to Christina?
Right.
Right. And it may not be the number one organization that you want to promote, but maybe it has a bigger vision of that.
Right.
You know, we promote today the North Texas Giving Day. There's a lot of people on here not from Texas.
Yeah.
But there's probably a giving day in your area also that you could go online, Google it, do something. Even if you just promote the day, you're doing more than most people.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
doing more. It's
Yeah.
all about awareness. What does your partnership, how does that echo the organization itself? If you're working with a campaign, you're working with a charity, does that echo the values and the brand of your company itself? It's really important that you match brand because it's a partnership and you're helping each other.
Yeah, you have to.
And you're boosting each other up. Figure out what your minimum and your maximum constraints are with time, with money, with people. You may be working at a company that you don't have a ton of associates. How can you give back versus someone that like a really big management company or really big organization that has a lot more to give? So there's all kinds of things that you can play with.
Absolutely.
We talked branding earlier. Branding is important for one, getting your organization out, but also showing the partnership with these other organizations. Boys and Girls Club, you can see there, they have different shirts you can wear when you're out helping. We've done a lot of Operation Kindness. We've done different organizations to where we do the big check. Does anyone still do the big check? We do. we do. We still do the big check. It's still kind of fun. And then we get even our construction teams, our facility team members, because it's all about the plan, right? It's all about getting key components from every walk of life, everybody that wants to give based on the information that we received in the surveys.
Everybody wants to do it.
Everybody wants to do it. Think about
just giving them that opportunity on doing it.
Absolutely.
If they're not doing it on their own.
Absolutely. Think about that brand messaging. And what does it say when you as a company, you have people from every department reaching out? Every person, whether on site in the corporate office, or they're maybe they travel back and forth or whatever they do. Everybody has their little key components of their own philanthropic campaign and energy they can use.
Absolutely.
When you promoting is all personality. And it's all personal.
Yeah.
So when you're creating these campaigns, use excitement and get the value that people are want to see from it. Campaigning, it's emotional.
It is.
And there's stories that are related or relative to why people give back or why people perform or why people do it. It's very personal. Tell your own story. Figure out the impact that you have. It's powerful. It's about results. You're not just helping you, you're helping others. You're able to use your time, your creativity, your energy, your availability to give back to something that's bigger than you are. And with the value that you give back, the with them, that's the powerful stuff.
It is.
That the events, it's fun too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you been out campaigning or you've been out helping in the food bank or any other, and you just feel fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have music playing, it's a good vibe,
Yeah.
you have t-shirts made,
It's fun.
and it's rewarding. It's that positivity and that energy. Real quickly, the organizations are out there, they want to partner with you. They want your help. And they want to be a partner in crime. We had somebody comment earlier that donations that they were making were matched by some of these organizations.
Yeah.
There's a really fun one that I had the pleasure of working with back in January, was called Impact for Good. And they help create team experiences, team building.
And that one was virtual.
Oh, it was a virtual one,
you
right?
didn't even have to go anywhere. It was all virtual.
Absolutely.
It was amazing.
And with that, what we did is our team building, we were able to send laptop computers based on all the teams winning their team building.
Yep.
And I think we did that with Family Gateway, I believe. I can't remember.
That's correct. Yeah.
But the point is, these companies want to work with you, not for you. They want your time. They want your energy.
Yeah.
They want your investment. And the more that you get out, the more that you can perform, the more that you can plan and promote, it gives you those results. It gives you the performance of the end. So step by step, look at this real quick. We're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. We're running out of time. Performing is setting the stage. Set the stage. Remember, your organization is the star of the show. Choose your audience, do that overview, captivate your audience, highlight the advantage, and give a timeline. We talk about SMART goals. We talk about making things streamlined and targeted. It's the same thing. Everything you do is on a time restriction. Put together your campaign so everybody knows the parameters, the expectations, and the results at the end. Some areas to highlight: make everything personal. Make it about what you're doing. Resources you talked about earlier, some don't cost anything.
Yep.
How many of you clean out your closet every season? What do you do with those clothes, right?
I donate mine. Yeah.
It's almost time for jacket drives.
It is. It is.
So if go out today, look in your closets. If you find any old jackets, there are lots of women's shelters that need jackets. There's organizations that you can give old clothes to.
Yeah.
Baby clothes is a big one.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but there's a lot of baby clothes that are needed by a lot of homeless shelters. Your excess food, your time, your skill set. Are you a mentor? Can you use what you know and mentor somebody?
That's another one that we should have added to the other list, right?
It's mentor, right?
It
Exactly.
Yeah.
Social praise. I tell you what, something that does not cost you a dime is giving reviews, giving social praise to businesses and organizations that you partner with.
Absolutely.
Let them know the impact or the praise from you on what they give to your community.
Yeah.
Today, I challenge everybody to find an organization that you want to promote and go onto their social, go to their LinkedIn, just send them a message. Say, I just want you to know we're in your corner.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everything
That's
you
awesome.
do for our company or for the area. Easy.
That's smart.
Perform those random acts of kindness. Some things you can do that are just about saying thank you or just about being a kind person. Look at this quote, one real quick. It only takes one person and one act of kindness to inspire others and create change.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Love it.
Isn't that cool? When you look at your production, when you look at the end results, set yourself a standard, set yourself a goal. If you are the head of campaigning and you start a goal for any kind of charitable foundation today, next year, try to supersede that result. Not only with the amount of money you raise, the amount of pounds of food, but how many people get involved.
Yeah.
There's so much that we can give back, and there's so many people that are appreciative of what you can do to help out. Real quickly, look at these as your performances and go and do that campaign, set your goals, and then figure out, create your plan.
Yeah.
Real quick, here's your 4 Ps one more time. Plan, promote, perform, and produce. Use this little cheat sheet when you start your campaign next.
Yeah.
Put down your notes and your planning and your promotions, what that looks like. What are we going to do in our performance? And then how are we going to look at our results, plan our results, and put them out there? We're going to leave y'all with a couple of quotes here. It's just some fun stuff. I love inspiration. I love quotes. You know, if you've ever been on one of my webinars, you know that there's always some kind of inspiration quote out there. Look at this one in the orange. No one has ever become poor by giving.
Yeah.
Giving can be, like Christina mentioned, your time, your money, your efforts. But at the end of the day, it's a personal connection that you have with somebody else. And the more that you can give back, the more you get back. I'm so excited we got a chance to talk and speak on this today. Thank you for everyone that's been a part of this. Christina, one of my besties, I love her so much. This has been such a pleasure putting together. And I think we are going to turn it right back over to them.
Yeah, to Christy, I believe.
Wow, you guys really brought it home, and I have so many notes that I've feverishly written and wonderful ideas that you guys have shared with all of us. I'm super excited that we got to record this session, and the love will continue to spread. If you were on the call and you were wondering, am I going to get a copy of this? I need this, you know, yes, if you're registered, right, Stephanie, they're going to get a copy. Okay.
Yep, we will send you a link as soon as the recording is posted to the website. So you'll receive that within the next week.
And Jeffrey and Christina, thank you on behalf of NAA Next Gen as a volunteer, myself, and the heart work that we do. Your hearts were in this presentation. So thank you for giving back to our industry with your talents, and you're amazing. So I'm going to turn it to Stephanie, but I just had to say that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all so much. So before we close, I do have a few NAA updates to share with everyone on the call. So NAA is partnering with Swift Bunny on a DE&I benchmark survey. The survey is currently open and will close on September 30th. I will drop the link into the chat here in just a moment, but you can visit this page for more information and the link to sign your company up to participate. Next slide, please. NAA is currently calling for applications for Leadership Lyceum and the Diversity Leadership Program. These opportunities are available to all current members. Check out the link on your screen for more information. The deadline to apply for both programs is November 18th. All right, next slide. Awesome. So NAA's second annual DE&I Awareness Week will take place October 10th through October 13th. We will have daily webinars. If you want to go to the next slide. Every day, Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. You can go to naahq.org/DEI-week for more information and to register for one or all webinars that week. All right. And lastly, please save the date. The NAA will be calling for applications for the 2023 Excellence Awards, as well as the 20 in their 20s class of 2023. The call will open on October 17th and close on December 16th. You can check out the links here for more information, but please put these dates in your calendar. We want to celebrate and recognize you at Apartmentalize in 2023. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and a great weekend, and we will see you soon.
Thank y'all very much. We appreciate your time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.